How to get a 6% or better dividend yield on your favorite holding. We're going to use VTV as my favorite holding as the proxy for this, because when you see what I show you how to do this, you're like, whoa, is that easy? Yeah, it's literally that easy. And you'll be like, man, I wish someone would have taught me that earlier. Yep, I get it, man. I get it. Me too. Anyway, so VTV is my biggest holding by far. Nothing comes close, which means you should, of course, not buy it, because if I own it, it's doomed. Doomed, I tell you. All right, so we're going to go to Schwab. We're going to look at VTV, all right, and this goes back to 2004 when it first came public. So it first came public 2004. It pays 4 times a year dividends, and what you're going to see is we have all these numbers calculated. 39 cents a share, 29 cents a share, 26 cents a share, 27 cents a share. And what we're going to do is we're going to add all these up. We're going to do 0.39 plus 0.29 plus 0.26 plus 0.27. And that gives us $1.21 a share that it pays as a dividend back in 2004. We're going to divide this. Basically, the share price was 49, and it jumped up to 54 in the last quarter of 2004. So we're just going to average it, say it's $50 a share. So we're going to take 1.21, which is the totality of the dividends, and we're going to divide by the price per share, and we're going to use $50. That gives us a 2.4%. 2.42% dividend yield. All right, everybody with me so far? So remember, we're just taking the 4 months trailing dividend payout plus the price. That is what the yield was back then. All right, so just keep that in mind. So we're going to assume I bought $100,000 of VTV at opening. We're going to say I bought $100,000 at 49. So my purchase price was 49 cents a share, or $49 a share. You can call that a cost basis if you want. All right, so now we're going to go up. We're going to do our last 4 months. And just to give you an example of how this works, right now the Vanguard, Schwab is saying Vanguard VTV is paying 2.13% a year as a dividend yield. Yet before it's paying 2.42, so it's gone down by 30 basis points essentially over the course of 20 years roughly. That's not good, right? You know, you're wrong. So we're going to go calculate this: 0.80 plus 0.74 plus 0.7 plus 0.79. That gives us $3.03 a share. $3.03 is our dividend we're getting per share. And we're going to say the price right now is $144.35. So we're going to take 303 divided by 144.35, and we get a dividend yield of 2.09. Theirs is 2.13. We're right on track, if that makes sense. And how they get the dividend yield is so dividend yield is a trailing 12 months of income, distributions, and dividing their sum of last month's ending net asset value. So they're using the end of the price as of the end of October. I'm using it as of right now. That's why it's off a little bit, but it's basically the same thing. Income refers only to interest payments from fixed income securities and dividend payments from stocks. So this is only dividend payments, not capital gains, just dividend, all right, because that's the income. All right, so we got $3.03 a share, but I didn't pay $1.44 a share. I paid 49 cents a share. So we're going to take our, but I'm getting $3.03 a share. Everybody recognize that, right? Because I own the shares. I've owned them, and I haven't owned it for that long, but let's just say I did. I own the shares, which I've had since 2004. I'm getting $3.03 a share now, which is basically triple what I got in 2004. So over the course of 18 years, my dividend appreciation has tripled. That has averaged basically. That's basically a about 10% each year dividend increase, which is freaking fantastic. 10%. I mean, you think about it. You started back then with 27 cents a share in March of 2004. We come out here to March of 2021 at 70 cents a share. That's a tripling. So if we double our money every 10 years at 7.2, here we've doubled our money basically every 7 years. So it's 10%. So we got 10% annual increase in dividend payments, which is flipping awesome, which also includes the nastiness of 2008. So we had right here, it fell from 0.55 all the way down to 0.3, 0.27 right there, 2010, because the financial stocks they got hammered. All right. But so I'm getting $3.03 a share, but my cost is not $1.44. My cost is 49. So I take my 303 I'm getting per share, divide that by $49, and I'm getting a 6.18% dividend yield. Not too shabby. Has nothing to do with anything else. How much did I pay? What's my dividend? How much did I pay? What's my dividend? The same thing goes on like real estate. I'm telling you, man. So basically with real estate, I was talking to a guy not too long ago in Phoenix, and he bought a real estate apartment for like $80,000. He's getting like $1,500 a month for it, something like that. So you take $1,500 a month, times that by 12, divide that by $80,000, and his yield is 22%. And what we call that is a yield on cost. That's all that matters, man. Now, if you were to sell the house today, the new owner would get the $1,500 a month, but the new owner would pay $150,000 for that property. So the new owner is getting $1,500 a month, times that by 12, divide that by $150,000. And the new owner is going to get a 12% yield on cost, or distribution yield, a dividend yield, if you want to look at like a stock. It's all the same thing. And so in that case, the new owner is like, yeah, I'll do that. I'm still getting 12%. The old owner, though, is like, what am I going to do with $150,000? I'm not going to get a dividend yield anywhere near what I'm currently getting on my old holdings. This is why you don't just dump stuff because you're like, oh my goodness, the market's going to collapse. You keep it because you're sacrificing your previous dividend yields. And so that's why this guy shouldn't sell his real estate. I'm like, dude, you're getting a 22% yield on cost. If you were to sell that puppy and take that 150, yes, you would have got 100% capital gain because you bought it for 75,000 basically, and you're going to sell it for 150. But you still got to redeploy that money. Where are you going to put it? You're not going to get the same rate of return on your dividends on your income stream as you did before. Now, is there a hassle involved? Sure, property tax, all that. So you have to look at that. But when it comes to investing in stocks, dude, 6% dividend yield on the VTV. So let me share with you. Hold on a second. I'm going to share with you specifically what I got. Right, so right now I'm getting a 2.72% distribution or dividend yield on my VTV. And the way you do that is you simply you take the number of shares that you have times your share price and divide that by your current cost basis, and that is your initial investment. I'm not going to show that to you because I don't want you guys seeing my accounts, but that's how you do it. You say, okay, what am I getting today on my current entirety of my portfolio? And you just take the number of shares you got, times that by the dividend per share. All right, so again, the dividend per share in this case is $3.03. Divide that by your cost basis. Now, the drawback about dividing it by your cost basis, I have Schwab, is that you're not quite sure. Like some firms will add the dividend distributions to your cost basis. So I always like to just use what I showed you to begin with. You say, okay, what is the dividend yield divided by the current price? That will give my current yield. What is the dividend yield divided by my cost that I actually bought the stock for, if that makes sense? And so depending on how you do it, actually, my ranges goes from 2.72 to 3.1, depending on what you use. If I use my actual initial cost, my basis is 3.1. That's my dividend yield is 3.1. And the reason for that is simple, because the price has gone up such high, and the dividends have gone up relative to what I purchased it at. It has nothing to do with the current market value of the shares. It just has to do with the price of what I bought it at relative to the current dividend payout. That's all that matters. But I've done some trading in there and moving around money and stuff, so that's not going to be exactly true because I've reduced my exposure to VTV to some extent. I bought some VDIGX, for instance. I bought a couple of individual stocks, and I just took some of the gains off my VTV to buy all that stuff. But again, if you really want to go to the fundamentals, say I bought this at X price. Right now it has a dividend per share of Y. You divide X by or Y by X, and that'll give you your yield to cost. So depending on how you look at this, my current yield on my VTV is 2.72 because of the trading I did. If I were just to use my yield to cost, it'd be 3.1%, if that makes sense. So anyway, either way, it's a whole lot better than 2.13. The point being, you buy dividend stocks and you hold them for the long term, and your yield on your dividend yield will grow remarkably. I'm just telling you that's how it works. All right, love your thoughts. Hope it's not too confusing. See ya.